Hello and very good evening to all our viewers. This is WION Wallet. I am Sumit Chaturvedi. Let's see what is making headlines in the world of business this evening. As the rift between the Infosys founders and management grow, the promoter Narayan Murthy has postponed today's scheduled call with investors. Indian government hints at revising the control over one-year job notice period rule for commanders. The mood among German investors fell for the third month running in August. A survey showed linking the drop to an emissions scandal that has engulfed the country's car industry. And China's Great Wall Motor takes a U-turn on prospects for a deal with Fiat Chrysler, saying there are no talks and it may not pursue a takeover of the Jeep division of Fiat. And the top story is from India, where Infosys we are talking about, where amid the uncertainty surrounding IT major Infosys following the sudden resignation of Vishal Sikka, interim CEO, and MD UB Praveen Rao today wrote a mail to employees. He has assured employees that the company will stay the course. In an email to staffers, Rao acknowledged that road ahead will not always be easy, but asked them to stay focused, pointing out that this was not the first time Infosys has been up against a tough challenge, be it rough economic conditions, near impossible projects or leadership exits. He says that we haven't seen it all and there has not been a single occasion, not even one from which we did not emerge stronger, wiser and most importantly, still together as one team. Infosys Rao, who was COO of Infosys, was appointed the interim MD and CEO following Sikka's resignation. Sikka, the first non-founder CEO of Infosys, resigned from company following months of acrimony with high-profile founders led by Narayan Murthy, citing malicious and personal attacks on him. Rao, who was COO of Infosys, was appointed interim CEO later on. And to talk more on this, we are joined by our colleague Nishita Virendra from Bangalore. Good evening to you, Nishita. First of all, how has been the development so far on Infosys story? We know that UB Praveen Rao, the interim CEO, has written an email to employees. So it's really going to, strengthen the morale of employees at a time the whole company is going through a rough phase.
Well, that is the intention, at least, Sumit, considering the fact that the last few months have not exactly been smooth for Infosys, the back and forth between Murthy and Vishal Sikka, the allegations against Vishal Sikka, and eventually that culminated to Vishal Sikka stepping down from his position as the CEO of the company last week. So Praveen Rao, who is the interim CEO as well as MD of Infosys as well as a veteran of Infosys, has written an extensive letter directed to all the employees of the company where he talks about how the people, the employees, even in this difficult phase, need to focus on the work and the goals that have already been set for the company and for the employees individually as well. Yes, it will be extremely difficult, is something that he does acknowledge in the letter. He says that the company will be under scrutiny. It will not be an easy journey ahead. There will be leadership changes at the very top. And during this phase, during this process, the people, the employees at every single level of the company should only and only focus on their work, is what Praveen Rao has gone on to state in his letter. And this letter comes even as there was yet another letter sent by the Institutional Investors Advisory Group that they sent a letter to the board saying that they want Nandan Nilekani to come back as the CEO of the company. So a lot of speculations really surrounding Infosys today, a fairly active day, but Nandan Nilekani was not available for comment, and the company, when we approached Infosys for a reaction on the matter, they said that this is just a report, it's a rumor, and the company would not want to comment on the matter.
And we should take viewers back to another development in the whole Infosys saga, that today Infosys promoter Narayan Murthy was scheduled to address investors at around 6:30 p.m. today. that did not happen. That investor call has not happened. While Infosys has lost quite thousands of crore of rupees in the last few days. Today it recovered though, but today Narayan Murthy has cited health reasons as the reasons for not addressing investor concerns. This has happened in the morning, though there was a confirmation that investors would be addressed in the evening. It has not happened so far. And we will go back to Nishita Virendra for more on this. Nishita, another development which was supposed to happen today, that Infosys promoter Narayan Murthy was supposed to address investors today evening, and there was almost a confirmation, and now citing health reasons, he has said that this will not happen today but happen next week. Why has he taken that step? One that, kind of lingering on of this whole saga or not coming comments from Narayan Murthy will also complex the matters more.
That's right. Today, in fact, Narayan Murthy was expected to interact with the investors, and let's not forget that the investors have been a rattled and possibly an irate lot as well. We know that almost 34,000 crore rupees was lost in stocks after Vishal Sikka stepped down from his position. The stocks took a beating majorly on Friday as well as Monday, soon after Vishal Sikka put down his papers. But Narayan Murthy was expected to speak to these investors and calm their nerves down. However, that is expected to happen only on the 29th of August. It has been pushed for a later date. But we also understand that Ravi Venkatesan, who is the chairman of Infosys, will also be touring across the country and having a one-on-one with investors in order to calm their nerves, in order to assure them that irrespective of the changes that are happening at the leadership level, as far as the work goes, as far as the goals and aspirations of the company go, it is very much on track and will continue to be so. So certainly there is an effort being made by both the board as well as the founders headed by N.R. Narayan Murthy to reach out to the investors in this difficult time.
Stay with us, Nishita, and we should tell the viewers that what is Infosys doing as far as redoing the whole losses are concerned. So in order to start redoing the losses suffered after CEO Vishal Sikka's untimely exit last week, Infosys management has started crisis management. IT Major is creating a team to calm investors to counter Narayan Murthy. Top Infosys management and board members are likely to hit the road within the next 10 days to meet institutional investors and soothe the nerves, following Vishal Sikka's resignation as CEO of Infosys last Friday after constant public attacks by Narayan Murthy and subsequent, we can say that, fight between company's board and its founder Narayan Murthy. Moreover, such a move is being strategized to preempt a possible offensive against the board by Murthy. Infosys has seen its market cap erode by rupees 34,000 crore over the last few days. Two sets of teams have been put in place to reach out to US and Asian investors. So while R. Seshasai, the company's chairman, and Sikka, CEO, will be touring the US, a group of senior-most executives along with co-chairman Ravi Venkatesan will be reaching out to foreign institutional investors or FII in Singapore and Hong Kong. There will be separate meetings with Indian investors too. Seshasai is already in US and Sikka is based in California. So together they will cover that geography. Going back to Nishita, a lot of damage has happened to Infosys so far. So clearly a lot of damage has already taken place to its image and all of that. So what is, can you tell us what is Infosys doing really on ground to control that damage and redo that?
Well, certainly it is a difficult time for Infosys at the moment, and the damage has been done not just on a monetary level, but even if you do go as far as the image of the company, the image of the founder Narayan Murthy, which so far was almost immaculate, but the last few months of badgering and back and forth between him and Vishal Sikka has raised questions on him and his intentions from various quarters as well. Just this morning we were discussing the letter, the open letter that has been sent out by one of the former independent directors of Infosys, Omkar Goswami. In his letter, he has gone on to state how N.R. Narayan Murthy is ruining the company in many ways by approaching the media and going public with his allegations, and he should stop when there is still time to salvage what is left of Infosys and of its image. So in the last few months, a lot has changed for Infosys. It was expected to be the golden standard when it came to the Indian IT hospitality industry, but that image has certainly taken a beating. So it will take time for Infosys to recuperate. But at the same time, the biggest focus for the company will now be to look for that leader. Who will that leader be? Who will be the next CEO, MD of Infosys is the big question. And that person, whether he will be from within Infosys, from outside. There are speculations doing the rounds that maybe Praveen Rao is in the running and other members who are part of the board are also in the running. But most of these members who are believed to be in the running were part of Infosys even when Vishal Sikka was appointed. So if they were not good enough then, will they be chosen now, and will that be looked at as a compromise? Those are the questions that will really be raised. So it is a big task for them. They not only need to appoint a person who is capable technically and leadership quality wise, but should also understand corporate governance, not just the way Infosys or the books tell you, but the way Narayana Murthy and probably the other founders believe it is.
All right, Nishita, thank you for getting us all these details and talking to us on this important matter. You are at the top of the whole story, Infosys, that is unfolding in the tech city, Bangalore. And moving forward to aviation news in India, where Indian government has said it can have a relook at the controversial one-year notice period rule for switching jobs for commanders of flights at a later stage. The new rules put in place by aviation regulator DGCA last week made it mandatory for commanding officers or pilots to serve at least 1 year notice period if they want to quit and join another airline. Now, before this, a 6-month notice period was sufficient for this purpose. The norms are also facing opposition from some airline unions. The revised norms may not withstand legal scrutiny if challenged in a court. Let's listen what Indian Aviation Minister Ashok Gajapati Raju had to say on this in this exclusive conversation with us. So Ashok Gajapati Raju spoke to us on this issue, and government is going through a really tough time when on one side commanders or pilots of airlines are opposing this rule, while on the other hand we can say that these regulator has put in this rule making it mandatory for pilots or commanders to give 1 year notice period before they switch jobs. So it is becoming a problem in India's aviation sector. Before that, analysts also said that this can hurt the expansion plans of airlines in India. Pilots Union are planning to challenge this norm in court, where it may not stand the legal scrutiny. So clearly this is an issue which is clearly creating a lot of trouble for aviation sector in India. Well, this has happened nowhere else in the world where 1 year notice period is being served by commanders before switching airlines. Let's hear what Aviation Minister Ashok Gajapati Raju had to say on the issue.
You see, let us understand that better. You see, this restriction came ostensibly for certain reasons. Now, if those reasons are incorrect, then there's no need for a restriction. If those reasons are correct, then how do we meet those things? That is the question.
So you won't take it back? There's no chance of taking it back, rolling it back?
You see, there's no such a thing as gospel truth for eternity.
Okay, so this can be...
You see, these are regulations which are brought in for to overcome certain problems. That's what I'm giving.
These can be relooked at a proper time. It can.
Oh yes. Oh yes, they're not truths for all time. These are not religions. You see, even Parliament can change laws. So, you see, time comes, there are certain problems that regulation has addressed.
And staying with India news, where fast food giant McDonald's decision to indefinitely close around 170 stores across India's north and east has rattled key vendors, mall operators and landowners that have long-term leases and supply deals with the restaurant chain. The key vendors include Vista Processed Foods, which supplies chicken, vegetables, patties and fresh produce, another Dynamic Dairies that sells cheese, MRS Spectre Food Specialties that delivers buns and sauces, and Amrit Foods, which provides soft serve and milkshake mixes. Another Radhakrishnan Foodland is McDonald's logistics and distribution partner for the North and East. Some mall owners said they are writing to master franchisee Connaught Plaza restaurants to either be compensated for the rentals for 3 months or be given clarity and assurances on reopening the outlets. On Monday, McDonald's snapped all ties with CPRL and took away all branding, trademark design and marketing policy rights from the estranged partner Vikram Bakshi. Now, McDonald's said CPRL is required to cease using McDonald's system within 15 days of termination notice. An average outlet of McDonald's has more than 1,200 patrons every day and accounts for 5 to 6% of a well-run mall's total traffic. So not everybody is going to win in this case. Employees' jobs are at stake, and also here we are learning that vendors are planning to Let's go over to global news where Walmart, US giant, is teaming up with Google to let shoppers order by voice. The latest example of world's largest retailer finding a technology partner to catch e-commerce leader Amazon.com. By the end of September, Walmart customers can link their store accounts to Google's Express shopping service and use voice-activated Google Home speakers to buy hundreds of thousands of items for delivery. Shopping recommendations will be based on previous purchases beginning next year. The assortment will expand to include fresh groceries and allow for in-store pickup of orders. The collaboration is Walmart's latest attempt to match the convenience of Amazon, which quickly delivers a bigger online selection and has a dominant line of voice-activated eco speakers that play music. So Walmart and Google are partnering for a new initiative which is voice-based shopping. They're partnering to catch Amazon. The largest US retailer, Walmart, has joined Google, its Express shopping service. Both have come together to counter Amazon, and Google will tap Walmart's shoppers' purchases for more and more recommendations. Let's come back to India, where the home sales are staging a recovery from a slump last year when the government suddenly cancelled most of nation's currency to crack down on shadow economy. Sales in Mumbai, the nation's financial capital, jumped to the highest in 7 years in the second quarter. Across 8 major cities, sales gained 6% from the previous quarter. Homes costing less than around 5 million rupees or $78,000 accounted for more than half the sales. Affordable homes classified as below 2.5 million rupees made up 17% of sales of 8 cities. Mumbai, though, recorded the greatest proportion of sales of this type of dwelling at 24%. And China's Great Wall Motor Company, an automobile major, has taken a U-turn on deal talks with Fiat Chrysler, cooling prospects for a deal with the company. Great Wall Motors said there are no talks and it may not pursue a takeover of Italian-American car manufacturer's Jeep division. So commenting just a day after expressing interest, Great Wall said there are big uncertainties whether it will continue to study Fiat Chrysler. The Baoding-based automaker said in a filing to Shanghai Stock Exchange, the Chinese company's efforts have not generated concrete progress as of now, and it hasn't established contacts with Fiat's board. Fiat Chrysler CEO Sergio Marchionne stoked deal speculation last month when he said automaker will evaluate whether to spin off some businesses or not. The Jeep marquee brand is company's mass market car operations and has been a key focus of expansion, reflecting the brand's importance. Morgan Stanley estimates Jeep is worth 20 billion euros or $24 billion, more than entire group's market value. And staying with global news, the mood among German investors fell for the third month running in August, a survey has showed, linking the drop to an emissions scandal engulfing country's car industry. The sector's reputation and the clean diesel technology at its core has been bettered since Volkswagen admitted in 2015 to cheating US emission tests to conceal polluting fumes. Last month, EU antitrust regulators opened an investigation into claims of collusion among German car makers over pricing diesel emissions treatment system. However, the German economy could grow faster than expected this year thanks to exceptionally strong industrial output. So German investor morale has plunged on emission scandal. The mood among German investors has fallen for the third month in a row. The diesel emission scandal has engulfed entire German car industry, and auto sector's reputation in Germany has been bettered since Volkswagen scandal came to light 2 years ago. Volkswagen has admitted in 2015 that it was cheating US emission tests. And German car makers are suspected of collusion of scandal of a massive scale. The German economy, though, could grow faster than expected in 2017, which is this year. And Germany has exceptionally done strong industrial output and exports are also very well. The car industry is Germany's biggest exporter and it provides about 800,000 jobs in Germany alone. And bolstering Beijing's ambitions as private capital pulls back, China's largest state-owned commercial banks are raising tens of billions of dollars to fund country's Belt and Road investment push. China Construction Bank Corp, the country's second largest bank by assets, was raising at least 15 billion for a fund to specifically finance Belt and Road investment. Bank of China, another major state bank, aims to raise around 20 billion yuan for a similar fund. The cash raised via banks' private equity or other investment platforms is part of broader push sponsored by China's central bank to use onshore yuan capital for offshore investments, including Belt and Road deals. China's President Xi Jinping in May pledged a $124 billion funding boost to help his plan to build a modern Silk Road, connecting China with new and old trading partners, including Pakistan. Xi Jinping also said China would encourage financial institutions to expand their overseas yuan fund business to the tune of 300 billion yuan. And coming to global aviation news, Cathay Pacific, Hong Kong-based airlines, has agreed to purchase 32 Airbus SE single-aisle jets in an order worth $4.1 billion as it seeks to upgrade and expand fleet of its affiliate Cathay Dragon. The Hong Kong-based carrier entered into a non-binding agreement to buy A320-200 Neo aircraft. The jets are scheduled to be delivered between 2020 and 2023 and carry a list price of $127 million each, excluding discounts that are customary for huge orders. The airline, which was last week reporting its worst half-year loss in 2 decades, is in the midst of a corporate revamp that includes job cuts and measures to improve services. The new aircraft will replace Cathay Dragon's 15 A320s and 8 A321s. So let's talk about Indian markets. The markets in India were doing good. Sensex was up in today's trade. Nifty also recovered. Sensex was mainly supported by bank stocks and a recovery in Infosys that has taken a beating over the last many trading sessions. Infosys had lost around 34,000 crore rupees in trade in overall market value over the past few days, but today it recovered. So Sensex was up by around 0.88% today, and as we see, Nifty was also up by around 0.89% today. Good news for Indian markets after days of getting beaten last week. Indian markets were down last week, but today they recovered and Sensex was up and Nifty was also up. And we can talk about the global markets also. There also, the overall, we can see Nikkei was up by 0.26% and Hang Seng of Hong Kong was up by 0.9%. The Hang Seng was closed in the morning trade today because of a typhoon that had hit Hong Kong. Later on, the markets recovered and Asian markets are in green. Overall geopolitical tensions that were engulfing the markets across the globe, they have, we can say that, removed. And there are no big geopolitical tensions, and that's why markets are heaving a sigh of relief. So markets overall in Asia were in green today. Well, that's all today we have in this edition of WION Wallet. For more news and updates, stay tuned to WION, and thanks for watching us.